Hello, Bizarre Story friends. You've tuned into the Bizarre AF, a place where we talk about the strange, the unusual, the unknown, and all things Bizarre AF. I'm Kevin. I'm going to be your host for today's episode, and as always, we ask that you keep an open mind, keep a skeptical ear, but keep listening to those facts as we take you on our newest journey, the real Hotel California. Hello, everyone, and welcome my co-hostess with the mostest, Alicia. Hey, girlfriend.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. How are you today?
I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah. How's your day going?
You know what? It's good.
Is it?
Here. Yeah. I have a little bit of soda, which I don't drink soda very often, so I can use it. That's for sure. But I'm really excited to be here today with
This
you.
is going to be interesting. I hope. Yeah, I think this one's not going to be scary for you. I don't think it's not aliens and it's not AI.
Okay, good. So behind pulling the curtain behind to see behind the curtain a little bit right now.
Yeah,
we are filming at night, and it's not like you can't tell, but we are filming at night,
which
and
we don't normally do.
No, we normally film during the day. So.
So this could be a little creepsters.
Yeah. Now all I have to do is go to bed, and then I'll have this in the back of my mind.
Oopsies.
Yeah. Thank you, Kevin.
Well, as the saying goes, 2 times can be coincidence, but when it's more than that, it's generally a pattern.
Right.
But what if it was like 10 times? What if it was 100 times? What if it was hundreds of times? Would you think that's some sort of a pattern?
I would say it's probably a phenomenon or a pattern. Yeah. Yeah. It's something you can count on, right?
Well, Hotel Cecil, have you heard of this in LA?
Oh no. I have heard of this place in LA. Oh my God. Yes.
We're going to talk about that.
It's fucked up.
It's fucked up.
And isn't it still around today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Why do people go there?
We all just need a place to hang our hat at the end of the day.
Gerd.
You're tired. you have no other options, so you go to the Cecil Hotel.
So, what causes these continuous things to happen? Who causes these? Is it the location? Is it the circumstance of the patrons? Is it something we don't even understand?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know.
This is the question we're going to be talking about today. But you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to hear this episode and go, what the fuck?
This is weird.
So we're going to talk about the history of the hotel, but we're going to focus on a more recent event.
Ooh, okay.
But we're going to talk about the beginnings, the middles, and the most frequent, okay? Or the most recent.
Okay.
So in 2019, LA was big boom town. In about 1924, there were 3 hoteliers. What do they call it? Hoteliers who wanted to build this very luxury hotel, and they built the Hotel Cecil. It was very luxury.
Super nice.
Super nice. In fact, today, if you go into the lobby, it's like posh. You would go, wow, this is a nice place.
Really?
It's crazy.
Okay. Huh.
It cost about $1.5 million at the time, which equates to about $21 million in today's money. It's a 14-floor hotel with 17 rooms.
It's only
700 rooms.
Oh, I was like, it's only 17 rooms?
17 rooms? Like, wow,
all this stuff has
huge.
happened? Yeah.
Yeah, 700 rooms. Top floor was actually the 13th floor, but we all know hotels don't have 13 floors, so it's technically the 14th. Or
They
sorry,
skip-
technically the 13th, but logically,
They call it the 14th?
Yeah, the 14th.
Yeah, isn't that weird that hotels do that?
Yes.
Especially this one. It's like, you might as well have the 13th. It doesn't really matter.
Why would you build a hotel with 13 floors?
Yeah. It's like some bad juju or something.
Started off bad.
Yeah.
But you hop into the elevator. I told you the lobby.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. But you hop into the elevator. Totally different world.
Really?
Turns into crap. Second you walk in the hotel, you're like, oh, what am I getting myself into? And then you get off the floor and you're like, oh, F, what am I getting myself into? And then you get in the rooms, you're like, oh, hell no. Like your feet are sticking to the carpet.
Oh, gross. You're definitely getting bed bugs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like maybe, you know what they say is like, they say, you know, you have to be careful when you're in a hotel because oftentimes they don't change the sheets or whatever.
No. Stop.
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't.
Gross.
Like take a black
No.
take a black light to those sheets and you will be disgusted. That's why I just like to live in with like a bag over my head. I don't care. I'm just not gonna.
Yeah, I'm going to be oblivious.
Yeah. Put blinders on me because I don't want to know.
So this hotel's right on the edge of an area that they call Skid Row.
Yes.
And it's like a 20 some odd block area, which its residents really are not the top notch of society.
No.
I mean, this hotel houses prostitutes, drug addicts, the homeless, convicted sex offenders, and LA at a time. Sorry, let me back up. So the Great Depression. So builds in 1924.
Yes.
Great Depression starts 29. By 1931, the hotel was already pretty seedy.
Oh, sure. No one's going. No one can afford it.
No one. Yeah. In 1931, a guest by the name of W.K. Horton dies in his room after taking poison capsules.
Oh, he just kills himself.
Kills himself.
Oftentimes people will do it in hotels.
More suicides follow.
Ugh.
So many so that I can't even possibly highlight them quickly in this podcast. It's countless.
Like that's something that people, if people are going to kill themselves, they typically will do it in a hotel room because then no one has to find them that they know.
The same hotel?
I mean, there's something up with this hotel.
Something's going on.
Yeah.
Like again.
It was a really nice hotel at this point.
At the beginning,
before,
yes. In 1934, another resident commits suicide by slashing their own throat. Who does?
Oh my gosh.
Who does that?
I have never heard of anyone doing that. You have to be insane to do that.
Who does that? No one.
You can't. Like there's
Your
like a
body
mechanism.
would like stop you.
Yeah, there's a mechanism in your within your body that says like this is causing pain.
Stop.
So like if people try to kill themselves or whatever, oftentimes that's why they use a faster method because you physically can't really do it.
This person did.
Because they're in a crazy ass place.
Bingo. In 1937, a 25-year-old named Grace Mago, she dies in the hotel when she falls from the 9th story and her body gets tangled up in the telephone wires.
Oh, God, of course.
1944, a woman gives birth in a hotel room and then throws her baby out the window.
Shut up.
What the fuck?
It's like everything you can possibly think of.
1947, Elizabeth Short, also known as Black Dahlia.
Yes.
She was allegedly spotted having a drink in that hotel just days before her murder.
Oh my gosh, and that was a huge murder at the time. Big. Yeah.
And then throughout the 40s and the 50s, more suicides, more murders. 1962, Pauline Austin jumps out the window, falls onto a man and kills him.
Oh God. Kills 2 people. Jeez Louise.
1964, a retired telephone operator. Her name was Goldie Osgood. They called her Pigeon Goldie. She lived there like a long-term resident. She liked to feed the pigeons. Mm-hmm. Everyone liked her. She was found raped, stabbed, beaten in her room, completely ransacked.
Oh my gosh.
This guy gets charged with her murder because he was seen outside covered in blood roaming the streets. Turns out it wasn't him.
What? Whose blood was it?
Good question. They didn't have DNA back then.
Right. Like, who knows?
But, I'm just happened to see someone else roaming the streets and covered in blood. What the hell? You ever hear of the Night Stalker?
Yes.
Famous L.A. area serial killer?
Yeah.
He stayed there. That was his residence, that hotel. He stayed there for many weeks, committing most of his murders while staying there.
Really?
And he would strip off his clothes in the alley and then walk up to his room through the stairs in his bloody underwear.
Ew.
People saw him doing this repeatedly.
Oh, yeah, but like you think of the clientele. What was that
Right.
like the 70s? Like they're like, yeah, we're not going to say anything.
80s, this was 80s.
80s, yeah.
And this hotel was crazy. So that was just like normal.
They're like, yeah, we're used to seeing people in blood covered underwear, whitey tidies, like or
Can you
tidy
believe it?
It's insane.
Another serial killer, an Austrian, he stayed at the Cecil in 91. While he was there, he killed 3 prostitutes. More rooms in this hotel than not, somebody has died. And in a 10-year period, there were over 80 deaths. 80.
Wow.
Something's wrong with this hotel.
Yeah.
Something is
Seriously wrong.
In 2008, the owners started evicting long-term residents because they wanted to try to start cleaning it up, right?
Yeah.
Because it was like physically like gross.
Yeah. It was like a sty.
Yeah. So the city stopped them from doing it because this area, the city didn't want them to get rid of their long-term residents because the city wanted all the homeless and everybody to stay in this area. They didn't want them in the city.
That's right.
So they wanted to keep them here. Mm-hmm. So they didn't want to get rid of that or have them, get rid of the long-term residents. So in about 2008, the owners, the new owners, wanted to clean the place up.
Naturally. You have a gazillion murders there, or deaths.
Right.
Might be a good idea.
But the city wouldn't let them do it because this is where the city wanted to throw all of their icky people.
Right.
So they mark this as a landmark. They prevent them from changing it out from a long-term residence to like a real hotel. Mm-hmm. So they had to start getting creative. So what they did was in part of the entrances, it was on a corner. So they had 2 entrances.
Yeah.
They created another entrance, created a whole new lobby, and they called it a different hotel called Stay on Main. And what they did is they took floors 3, 4, and 5, and they made that this Stay on Main. Residents were living on 2, and then 6 through 13 or 14.
Right.
So it was like a hotel within a hotel.
That's so weird.
They rebranded, right?
Yeah.
This Stay on Main was all hip. It's like, like orange and white, and it's like with workspaces but it was like a European hostel. So like it was like you would share rooms, like bunk beds, a common bathrooms.
Yeah.
So it was a cheap place for young travelers to go. But it was clean.
Yes.
And nice.
Yeah, and they're probably charging like decent rents there.
Little did they know that these people were living literally between crazy.
But yeah, I mean, like that's why you'd have to make it like a hotel or a hostel for like younger people that like isn't expensive, not super expensive, right?
Right.
Because if you had some hoity-toities in there and it was a boutique hotel,
yeah,
those people are going to be like, wait, why is this guy who has like one massive dreadlock taped to his freaking head and is covered in blood, like, why is this guy in the same hotel that I'm paying money for?
Well, the problem was that they had to share the elevator.
That's what I was thinking. I'm
yes.
like, how would they not?
Yes, they couldn't have a separate elevator, so they had to share the elevator.
It's an old building. There's no way to just shut it off.
Right. So, in 2013, and this is when, they got this Stay on Main going. and they're getting lots of young travelers. This hotel gets in the news again because a woman by the name of Elisa Lamb, a Canadian resident, gets reported missing. She was only 21. She just wanted to travel up and down the West Coast.
Sure, it's a beautiful drive.
Fortunately, she was real close with her parents, so her parents that said, call me every day. So they knew something was wrong instantly, right?
Oh, because she was not calling them.
Being in contact.
Was she on was she on a trip?
Yeah,
or
she was
what?
just wanting a little getaway. She
Yeah.
just wanted to just kind of explore the West Coast in the United States. She'd never been, just wanted a getaway.
Yeah.
So the hotel did have video cameras. However, the floor that she stayed on didn't have a video camera.
Go figure.
Go figure.
Big surprise.
Shocking.
Big surprise.
So the LAPD are watching hours upon hours of video. But there was video of the entrances and the exits. And so they determined she did not leave the hotel. They do not ever see her leaving. So she still has to be somewhere in the hotel.
Right. She has nowhere else to go. She's not from the area, so it's not like...
Right. The LAPD did find one camera after watching all of this video, and they see her. But she's behaving very strangely, and it's in the hotel elevator. And in an effort to help them solve the case, the LAPD decides they're going to disseminate this video to the press to try to get people to look at it and help.
Sure.
They're 13 days into this investigation. They're nowhere. And this is the first viral video. This is 2013, so there's really no such thing as viral videos, really. This was the first one that kind of triggered the viral video sensation. It got over 25 million views in just days.
Of this girl, this 21-year-old.
In the elevator.
In the elevator, because that was the only place that they had cameras.
The footage, right.
What floor was she staying on? Who knows?
Don't know.
Okay. Doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter at this point, but the LAPD puts this video out on the internet to try to get help.
Like, hey, if you have any information, please call. Yeah.
We're going to watch the video.
Oh my God. Great.
And I'm going to add commentary for the people that are just listening so you can kind of understand what we're watching.
Yeah.
But it's actually disturbing. And it's not disturbing like... It's like creepy disturbing. Just knowing the circumstance. Knowing that after this event, she disappears.
Right. This was, yeah.
And her behavior is very unusual.
Oh God. Great.
Okay.
Great. There's no one else in the elevator with her, right?
We don't think
We're
so.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Okay, so again, I'm going to play the video and I will try to talk through it so that people knows what happens. It's about a 4-minute video.
Okay.
Okay.
And we'll also have it linked in the show notes, right?
So the doors open and she walks in casually and she swings her arm over her head as if she's kind of playful around, and she pushes all the buttons. And she bends down, she fires them all in a row from top to bottom, and then she steps back to the back corner of the elevator and just stands there looking out the door.
Yeah, well, like the door's not even shutting. Like the door to the elevator is still open, and she's kind of like looking out.
She jumps forward, she looks forward, peeks her head out, right, left, then she puts her back against the side wall, and then she steps into the front corner with her head back against the wall like she's hiding from somebody.
She looks freaked out.
Then she slowly sneaks around the corner and just peeking around to the right, just still in the doorway like no one could see her from the hall. Then she slowly steps out with her right foot, looking to the left, jumps out really fast with her feet, steps to the left, to the back in, steps back into the elevator like a square dance, steps back out into the hall, and then steps to the left of the door in the hall out of frame. Now we can just see her right arm just hanging there. She's just standing there. keeping in mind the elevator staying open, not doing anything.
It's not closing.
It looks like she's got her hands on her head because we can only see her right arm. Yeah. And she's just standing there. Again, the elevator door staying wide open, not doing a thing. Then she steps in almost like she's dizzy, touching both sides of the elevator door, and then from top to bottom pushes the buttons 3 times.
Yeah,
down, down,
all
down.
of the buttons.
All of the buttons. Doing it, she does that 3 times methodically with each hand. She's like going down the buttons. Then once she's done with that again, she just slowly walks out the elevator with her hands through her hair and steps back in front of the elevator to the left. And her arms start doing these weird motions, like she's talking to someone or conjuring someone or trying to explain something to someone. And she's twisting her hands and her arms and her fingers, and like she's counting or bending her fingers back, just doing weird behavior with her hands and kind of bending at the knees, making very odd gestures. And she's just slightly out of the frame, just onto the left of the elevator. And then she slowly walks away, and we never see her again. But the elevator door remains open.
What the
It's doing nothing. Now the question becomes, why did the LAPD include this footage in the video? And if you also notice, the timestamp is grainy.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about that in just a second. But the door finally closes, but it kind of like jumps closes.
It does, yeah.
And it's going to stay closed for a few seconds. And we'll see the timestamp still ticking. We don't see any activity in the elevator. The door opens again. We see nothing in the hallway. We see nothing in the elevator. Stays open for a few seconds and then closes again, kind of like it would be if it was going floor to floor, because remember, she pushed all the buttons.
Right, yeah.
So then we wait for a few more seconds. The elevator still is empty with the door closed. And then now it opens up again, and the background of the hall changes colors. Now it's orange. And the door remains open for a few seconds. The door closes again, and it does look as though like one of the other lights on the elevator door went off, and then the video ends.
Yeah.
So the question for a lot of the sleuths was, why was all of that footage included? Like if the LAPD posted this video, wouldn't they have just stopped it when she walked out?
If I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Okay.
No matter what, people are going to be like, why did you just end it? What happened right after? You know, and people are going to have questions.
Why didn't you let it play?
Yeah, why didn't you let it play? And in reality, they're like, because there's literally nothing else. I'm like, well, we don't believe you, which don't get me wrong. Preaching to the choir here. I totally agree. However, they would have an issue if it ended right there. That is a really good question. Why would they continue to show all of the floors?
Right.
And it hitting every single floor. Like, what is the point of that?
Right. And I don't really know if it is going to every floor, quite honestly.
Right. It doesn't look like it is going to every floor.
Especially the second time. Like I couldn't tell if the light turned off or not, but it looked like it was on the same floor. And by the way, why is the elevator now behaving properly?
Right. Because when she was...
all of the sudden.
Yeah, so the thing it's disturbing. The video is disturbing. And I will say, like, whomever is listening to this podcast, definitely check out the video because you did a great job of explaining it. Brilliant job.
Great, thank you.
But also, it's a totally different thing to kind of see it because the movements that she was having were just so strange. And why the fuck is the door not shutting?
Why is it not? She pushes the buttons repeatedly and it's never shutting.
And like here's one thing you would think of. I work in a building that has an elevator, and as you're like, if you're inside, it'll automatically shut. If it doesn't, it'll like sometimes make a noise, but you can see like the lights lighting up, right?
Yes.
Or what the problem is. You also have like a door open or door close button. She wasn't pushing that button.
It was hard. Now, see, that was hard to tell because you could see her with her, left, right with her thumbs, pushing the buttons. And then it kind of looked like she was pushing a button down at the bottom. I couldn't tell what it was.
It could have been like the, what is it? That, the fire alarm or whatever, or like the,
of course, nobody heard anything. Nobody heard an alarm or any bells on the elevator.
Yeah, which is weird. I have some questions about this elevator.
So many.
Like when was the last time it was serviced?
Oh.
Because it wasn't behaving like an elevator should have been behaving, right? Like you would expect the door to shut or there to be some kind of like reaction.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was just broken and it just sat there. And if that were the case, then why the fuck did the door like almost jump closed?
Right. So people, these are all of the observations that people had. Why is the timestamp all jacked up?
Yes.
Why can't you read the timestamp?
You can't read the time at all.
It almost looks like someone put those when they do those little blurry squares over stuff.
Pixelation. Yeah.
That's what it looks like. So who did that? Why did they do that? Was it just because it was shitty? Like, that was a question. Really smart people who have nothing better to do with their lives figured out that it's running at 33% slower than normal. That's what they believe. The video is running 33% slower than normal.
What?
And that this was based on the movements of the millisecond speed. Now, it was impossible to read those, but again, people that are super smart, that have nothing better to do with their lives, kind of figured out the timestamp.
Oh, that makes her movements even weirder.
Totally. Sometimes the seconds, you probably weren't looking, they don't even move. They like glitched.
Yeah.
Or it would pause. When the elevator closes, it does this like jump. So it's almost like the video was cut or it skipped.
I did see that. Yeah.
Kind of like boop.
It did seem like it skipped.
Because it was suddenly like partially closed.
Which if you've ever done anything with like editing videos or whatever, we have, so we know. But there are jump cuts.
Yes.
That's what it's called. Now people are used to seeing jump cuts, but that was a jump cut.
Yes, exactly. So why did that happen? And again, once people started decoding the time, because we know order of numbers, they were able to figure it out. They figured out there were 53 seconds of video missing.
It seemed like there was something up. Like when did they determine that? Was it like
way after?
Way after.
Yeah, after the fact, right? Because you have all these slews, forever.
Who are they covering up for?
And was the recording just glitchy? Was there an entity fucking with the video?
Maybe.
Was there something making her act that way? So it was fucking with the elevator and the time and God,
it makes me want to go back and watch that video at like the normal speed, what they think is the normal speed, because I think it would be way scarier.
Weird.
It's like even the way it was some of the times what she was doing, it kind of
pulling
looks
her
like
hand backwards.
Yeah, like which I'm doing that right now. Like I can pull like my fingers back, and it was almost like her fingers were rigid and she was like trying to pull them back or whatever.
Yes.
It's like what was she doing? Like with her hands, like all of that just seemed incredibly strange.
Yes.
And like to say that. And it looked like it was at normal time while we were watching it.
It did, because especially when she would do her step and she kind of jump out the elevator. That looked like a normal pace.
Yes.
It seemed like a normal speed.
Is there a reason why? Like, okay, why do they always have the shittiest, grainiest cameras?
So frustrating. Yeah. So frustrating.
Why can't we just have a good
clear
camera?
Video.
Especially at a place like the Cecil or the Cecil Hotel that has had numerous murderers, and like you would think they would have, hey, look,
we got a lot of shenanigans happening in this hotel. Yes. So I think we need to have some good video.
Yeah, we want to cover CYA, make sure that we know who's coming in there when they're doing whatever they're doing.
Right.
But it's really crappy quality, super blurry and pixelated.
The worst.
And then like you can't read anything that's happening. Could it be that it was recording too fast? But why would it even record? Why would the camera record choppily like that?
Right.
Like there's no reason.
And when you watch her, she doesn't look choppy.
She doesn't look choppy at all.
But the timestamp's jumpy.
Like she would be moving really fucking weird if we were to see it. If it's
Speed
at
it up
30,
a little bit.
if it were at 30% speed and we move it to 100%, what it should be.
No, it's 33% slower, so I guess it's running at like, what, 75? You know what I mean? It's like it would be running at 75% slower.
So she's actually moving faster.
Yeah, so if we put it up to 100, so we have to bump it up 33%.
Yeah.
Yeah, then technically she's moving faster, right?
She'd be moving faster in reality.
She'd be moving faster in reality.
Like, so that whole thing, it would make her look almost like semi-schizophrenic or something. Like or possessed.
Normal.
Possessed.
Yes.
Like those were weird movements.
Yes.
And it's like, it looked like she was looking for someone.
It's like I said, disturbing. I've watched this repeatedly. And, you know, she walks in, you think all is normal.
Yes.
She walked in a normal way.
Uh-huh.
But within a hot minute, it starts getting weird. And then when she does the elevator thing, when she's standing out the elevator and then starts tweaking her hands and her arms and moving her, that's when it starts getting really weird.
Yeah, and it looks like when she's in the elevator, when she first gets in, everything's normal. And I thought, like, in the back of my head, I'm like, was she drugged or something? Like, could that have been something that had happened? But she's standing upright. She wasn't, like,
yeah, she wasn't wobbling.
It didn't seem like she was under the influence of anything. She seemed really pretty cogent in standing there, and almost childlike in some of the movements that she was making.
Exactly.
Which is really weird.
So 19 days after she's reported missing, her naked body was discovered in the water supply cistern in the hotel roof.
The hotel's water supply?
The cistern up at the top, the water tank?
Yeah, like the little water tank up above, yeah.
Yeah, she was in there naked, floating face up.
Naked?
Naked.
Where were her clothes?
In the tank.
So it's like she took off her clothes. Well, maybe they could have come off, or... That's fucking weird.
So then you go,
how long did
this was 19 days later, and how did they finally find her? Well, that would be because the guests started complaining of discolored and bad tasting water and low water pressure.
No.
Yes.
These people were paying to drink
body water.
This is so fucked up. That is so fucked up.
Fucked up.
So
it's scary.
So they're like, oh, this water kind of tastes off,
and it's like,
and it had been tasting off for a while.
They're like, it's kind of brown and weird color, and then there was like hardly any water at all, and it would like go, you know, it like
the pressure
would change.
Yes, they're like, oh, wonder. Can't find this girl, but like, let's check this water tank.
So here's the other thing.
Yeah.
The police scoured the building because they knew she didn't leave. Remember?
Right.
They knew she hadn't left. So they scoured this building, including the roof. Well, I'm sorry. I mean, I know hindsight's 20/20.
Sure.
But if you're going to look in every nook and cranny, then look in every nook and cranny.
Yeah. Absolutely. Why would you
irritating. I'm sorry. I know it's easy for me to say after the fact, but still.
Well, it's like, okay, they knew that she was inside of the hotel. They probably knocked on everyone's door, did a full search of every single room. Why would you, like, I would assume you would check like the ballrooms, the banquet rooms, like every single restroom. I'm sure that they checked every single person's room who was actually staying there.
Yep.
you're checking the basement.
They did.
You know,
The lockers. Yep.
the
laundry equipment.
Yes.
They did everything.
Yeah, like the kitchen, and then parking, stuff like that. Why would you not check the roof? What did they do? Just like take a cursory glance and be like, oh,
yeah, there's nothing here.
Nothing here. Like, how was there not any sign that person was up there? One.
Right.
Like,
and there wasn't.
There was no sign.
There was no sign. There was nothing disturbed. There was nothing.
And a cistern, let's just like look into, like, the cistern isn't something that you just like open up a door that's unlocked and then you can walk into it, right?
No,
like,
they had to get from the top.
Yeah, like it's like a ladder or something,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And there's like a little like opening or whatever. I'm assuming that's locked.
It wasn't locked, but you would think it would be. It's it's the water supply.
Yes.
Hello. But it wasn't.
It was not locked. I mean, how easy was it to open up?
Easy.
It was really easy.
Just walk up the ladder, swing open the lid, and there it is.
And so she jumps into the water, or she gets into the...
Yes, so this is the police theory.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what their theory is. So... her sister reveals to the detectives that she had a history of not taking her medication.
For what?
Bipolar.
Shit. Yeah.
Now, among her prescriptions were... along of the belongings that they found in her room were her medications, and they say they were seemingly untouched. She had been diagnosed with bipolar and was known for, they say, displaying psychotic behavior in the past. So police said, okay, her erratic behavior in the elevator was a paranoid hallucination. She climbed into the tank herself, believing she was in danger. They think that as the guests were, consuming the water, that it was decreasing, and so she couldn't get out. And they think that she undressed while she was in the tank, attempting to remove the clothing that was weighing her down. So they rule her death an accidental due to drowning, with bipolar being a significant
factor. Yeah. I mean, that's what the police said.
Yes.
Did her parents say, yeah, this is like she's had bipolar disorder and this is like this?
Her sister did confirm to them that she did have bipolar and that she was known for sometimes not taking her medication.
Which
here's another factor.
Yeah.
Apparently, and I couldn't validate if this was fact or fiction, but it is reported that in one of the rooms she was staying in, she was sharing a room with two people.
Like the hostel thing.
Hostel thing. That they asked if she could be put into a different room at one point. And I didn't know why. I couldn't figure out why. They thought she was weird or something. I don't know.
Right. Gosh, that's so sad.
It's unbelievably sad. Now, when you hear all of this now,
yeah,
you go, it kind of puts things in a different light. It does, right? Yeah. But I don't know. It's easy to say that that's what happened because that's an explanation.
Yeah.
I'm not a medical person, and I've never seen anybody have with bipolar or yes, exactly, or any of these hallucinations, kind of thing, so I can't speak to it, but I don't know. I think it's really easy to chalk it up to mental illness again because it's an explanation. If this hotel wasn't such a freakazoid, hodgepodge shenanigan mess,
Yeah.
then I go, yeah, probably. But
It's crazy.
I think if you've seen American Horror Story Hotel, this is where he got his inspiration from, was this hotel.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because if you've seen it, like a lot of this weird stuff happens in that show. Who's to say that she wasn't, I don't want to use the word, but possessed or affected by all of this fucked up energy?
I do think that there is something about like there's weird energy in places.
Well, especially when hundreds of people have died in it.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay. Agreed. But okay, this was probably one of the bigger hotels in downtown LA, right?
Yeah.
And like one of the first bigger hotels in downtown LA. So over 700 rooms, tons of people have come and gone out of that hotel.
True.
Right?
Yes.
So we're looking at massive numbers. We're not looking at like a boutique hotel or like a smaller place. We're looking at big numbers and a very particular clientele that are more prone to batshit crazy situations, right?
Yes.
Who might be unmedicated, who might be, kind of unfortunate folks in our society, and who are more vulnerable. So
all true.
So what happens? Like, you're doing people are doing drugs, and then they put themselves, or they are in a bad space. Somebody fucking comes and kills them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they are easy targets.
Mm-hmm.
And what do they call them? The forgettables,
Yeah.
right? Like, these are people who are easy to kill if you have a penchant for that, or, all of this stuff kind of brings these situations up. And we are also talking about a historic hotel that's been there for fucking ever, at a time when, LA was just starting. So I get it, and I do agree, but I also wonder how much of this is just like a game, like a numbers game, where it just happens to be in the perfect spot. Like Skid Row is basically, drug dealers can go down there and like sell their drugs in front of cops. Like,
exactly. They want to
rules.
Keep them in this area.
Yeah.
And you just do your business there. It's like, there's no rules.
It's no man's land.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
people like live in tents and stuff like that, like all over the place. So, I mean, it's sad. And
it's just that if you were to read her, she was a huge Tumblr user.
Oh, yeah.
Huge. Mm-hmm. And if you read her stuff, like, I don't know, there's no sign of this behavior. And, she seems together and taking her trip. And like, no one ever got a sense that she'd ever behaved to this extreme before.
I think, like, of course not, right? How often did she take these trips? Like,
never.
Right. She had never done it. So that's like adding extra, like, stress to someone who might be more compromised anyway. So you have someone who's more stressed out, then they're alone. And like, maybe she's like, oh shit, like my roommates think I'm a fucking weirdo and I haven't been taking my medication because I hate the way it makes me feel. And I'm in this weird fucking hotel.
Yeah.
Hopefully she didn't like bring her laptop and start looking up like the history of the Hotel Cecil, because then if that were me, I'd be like, I'd be seeing shit down the hallway. Thank you very much. I'd be like, oh my God, there's going to be a fucking ghost down here. Like, what am I doing? But you have someone who's compromised and she's alone and she's out of her comfort zone and she doesn't have anyone she knows around her. It's not like she was meeting friends. Right? She goes into a social situation as the weirdo and the outcast. So then it's not like she has anyone to talk to. And I hate, like, I'm not going to blame, like, the family or anything, but it's like, she probably shouldn't have been doing that. Like, she probably shouldn't have been going alone on a trip like this.
No, and the parents didn't really want her to either.
Yeah.
But she was 21, and
Yeah.
there's like not much they could do, and there's like you just be very careful and call us every day. So here's the other
Sad.
thing. If we were at a Ritz-Carlton
Yes.
and this many murders occurred,
they'd hide it.
it would be a different story.
Why?
Here's the other thing. If let's say there's ghosts and spirits and entities
Yes.
fucking with people,
Sure.
it's real easy. People aren't going to report it there. Or if they do, people are going to just chalk them up as to being crazy, drug dealing, meth head prostitutes.
Right.
And
They're forgettable people.
Right. And so there would be no validity to it anyway. So it's just as plausible in my mind for this to be explained because of the clientele and the nature of people and just where they are, as it is that this could be something supernatural as well. We just don't know about it.
Right. Yeah, if there was some weird shit happening and you have a schizophrenic person who's medicated but still schizophrenic, and they're like, no,
They're
look,
like, no,
this
literally.
is actually happening.
Yeah, the demon made me twist my hand.
Yeah, like I was trying to do whatever, or like the demon or like the poltergeist freaking ripped my hand or whatever. Like, you wouldn't believe them.
No.
They are like the perfect target, the perfect victim.
Bingo. Exactly. So that was my story. And it takes us back to the beginning, which is patterns and the behavior and the things that happen repeatedly in the same place. And we can all come up with a reason.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally.
But it's
a pattern.
It's a pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something weird. My favorite word, shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Yeah.
So,
golly.
I will never go to the Cecil.
No, I was going to ask, would you go and have a glass of water?
No reason. No. There is no reason to go there.
You wouldn't have a glass of water?
No.
No, no, body water.
No. God, that's terrible.
What if they had a cocktail at their cocktail bar that was called,
Oh my God, the body water?
Yeah.
Fuck, that would be.
Yeah. Or decomp.
Oh my God. Stop. No.
I say that in jest. It's really fucked up.
It's so unbelievably fucked up.
Yeah.
Especially if that was your sister.
No, I mean, 100%. Yes. I would have a horrible, that would be horrible, horrific. And it's
it's so preposterous. This is the thing. This whole event is so preposterous. It's just
it is.
It's hard to wrap your head around.
You almost have to make a joke out of it because it is really fucking sad.
It is. It is.
It is.
Oh my God.
Well, thanks for sharing the great story.
Sleep well.
Sweet dreams. Great.
All right. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.